You are watching Rarely Reserved, a Star Wars Shatterpoint bonusode. I am Sin, and I am here with Omnus, the subject of today's scrutiny. So, how are you? Are you excited?
I just found out that I am one of the Queen's subject. This was slightly new information for me, but I'm here for it. All hail Queen Sin. Let's do this thing.
Subject to scrutiny. My subjects are robots. Droids.
Scrutinize me then.
Yes. So hopefully upon thine screen, my loyal subjects, is a image that I've created of my lovely co-host Omnus. So if you have not watched our main episode and heard me I will give a very quick spiel about it. Basically, as a bonusode format, not every week, but as my ability to drop allows, we are going to make Shatterpoint ability cards for people in the War Council. But we wanted to start with ourselves because mostly we wanted to test run it and didn't want to use one of our lovely War Council as guinea pigs. So this is round two. Round one was mine, and you can watch it. I'm sure the link will be in the description. But today is Omnus, which I think I might even be more excited about than I was for my own, and I was very excited about my own. So basically what I have here is I did not get really any input from Charles beyond stuff that I remember him saying in previous episodes about what the art would be. The only thing that he said was that he needed scruff, and I added scruff. I can do that. I can add scruff. So this is what image I have created. And
there was one other thing. You asked me what color lightsaber I would prefer. You did ask me that. That's the only input that I gave.
Right. So lightsaber color and then the scruff. So, and like I said in the main episode, I do want to give people veto power about certain things. Like I really just don't see X in myself. So totally fine. So like, yeah, lightsaber color scruff, but 100%. So, but with the image that I've made, I have it's had some time with Omnus to percolate and create ideas for him about what he thinks it might be. So, but would you like me to tell you what I was thinking when I made it?
Yeah, definitely. That's where I want to start. Because to be totally honest, I'm like a super picky person. If I'm like designing a costume or designing a character for like Society of Creative Anachronism or something, I get very picky about like how things look. And so I really wanted to like step back as much as possible and just absorb your vision. So I definitely wanted to start off with like what in your mind led to this, like, because it's an armored look. And so it kind of reminds me a little bit of like Mandalorian armor or Sith armor, not necessarily like Republic armor traditionally, maybe Old Republic armor to a certain extent. And then you've got me dual wielding lightsabers, but I also wasn't sure, like, are these intentionally short kind of Tonto style lightsabers, or am I like mid ignition? I was curious to hear all of the style choices and like what was your headcanon for this Omnus character?
So, when I was thinking about you, what I wanted to do and what I'm going to do with everyone, including myself, was I started with here's the things that I think about this person on an ultra high level. And then here is me amplifying that as much, like almost like caricature levels of how I think about this person. And then take those caricatures of that person and then imagine them Star Wars themed. So what I kind of ended up with is that in my head, you're kind of this character who left their clan after seeing a lot of unchecked kind of aggression. And it created this like very calm character who is more of a wanderer, but is protective to those who are vulnerable. And the belief from this character is that strength is found in stillness, in reading the flow of battle before committing to a strike. And your vibe is like this kind of wandering master who teaches people who don't really fall into any specific group, but you think would like benefit from guidance. And you like the teaching styles of this like adaptive discipline. And I don't mean like discipline like you should do this. Discipline like restraint of like wait, watch, act with purpose. And so I wanted you to have these reverse grip lightsabers where they are a tool as much as a weapon. And they are designed in a way that they're not just a sword that you use for sword things, though they could be. But you also use them tactically. Like the reason in my brain that they're actually short is partially that you can use them as like or just a regular knife, but also they are short because I don't know if this works in Star Wars lore, but they're short because they are more concentrated. So you can do things like break into places because they're like breaching tools. And so, and also that you use them more in a not straight up fighting style where you are intending to just impale or slash open. You are intending to get close and disarm, get close and dismantle. That was what I was thinking when and the armor I'm glad you said it kind of felt a few different things, because the armor I very specifically wanted it to feel like you're not sure what it is. And I wanted my idea was this character has spent a lot of time after they left their clan studying other warriors and ended up making their own armor based on the study of other warriors and what they figured was the most tactically advantageous with their own fighting style and from other fighting styles. So, and then the dark and the gray, I felt like was this fit the vibe of the character I was creating of not calling attention to themselves, but also if you do notice them, you're like, oh, that person is not to be trifled with. I should respect the grind. So anyway, that was very long-winded, but that was what I was trying to create.
No, super interesting. I love hearing the insight. I want to hit you with like, as I started thinking about this graphic and like what is this Omnus character just based on what you showed me, because I didn't get any background information. And so I'm like, so there was this like, I definitely didn't feel Sith vibes from the character, which seems accurate so far. But I was torn. I'm like, is this a Republic character? Is this not a Republic character? Is this a Mandalorian? But I have lightsabers. And so what I started like formulating in my head was that this was someone who maybe was a Mandalorian by birth or by creed early on, but was a Force user, joined the Jedi Order, because I was thinking kind of wanted to be around the same time period since we made you a separatist. I was thinking should exist in the same era. So I was thinking Jedi at some level, whether Padawan to Knight, never a Jedi Master, but someone who was in the Jedi Order for a bit and was like, kind of like, fuck this strictness, and like rolled out kind of like Dooku rolls out at a certain point and like leaves the Order. And so reason why I wanted to use Satine in the main episode is that I started getting this headcanon that this character was like a Grey Guard paladin for Satine. And I don't know if it's like Satine even knows I exist or Satine knows I exist, but the character who kind of does some of the dark shit that keeps her stuff in order. Right? And so this character who has like some Force training but is not devoted to it, but is also a Mandalorian, and at the end where like and I kind of see it as a character who maybe to a certain extent like resolves some things via threats, not via like actual violence. But like kind of in my head, I started imagining Shadow Collective starts trying to like run some schemes in on Mandalore while we're trying to do peace. Like I believe in Satine's peace. And but I'm like, there's some things that you have to make it known. You're like, this is not gonna fly. And this will be resolved in a non-peaceful way. And that kind of happens away from Satine. So I don't know if I'm like, Satine knows I exist, or Satine is intentionally needs to not know that I exist. But it'd be like show up and be like, Shadow Collective, hey, you cannot run this shit. You cannot do this on our planet. There's going to be consequences, and kind of like tries to help keep her order going. That was kind of what I had in the back of my mind. Okay, so let's proceed with some character building. So we got the five different I think we should do tags first. Was kind of the direction because we did the tags for you at the end. I think tags for me are a little bit more complicated. We knew you were going to have droid synergies. So I think some core things here is just picking tags in general. Like obviously I've got a lightsaber, so I think I'm going to have Force user. I think that's probably
Force user and Mandalorian are the obvious ones, I guess.
okay. So we're going to do those two. The question is then other tags. Like, I think we're both at a point like not a bounty hunter. Okay. Mercenary is one that could go multiple directions. So where do you land on mercenary? Do you see this character? Because like Balin from Ahsoka, like definitely a mercenary. There was points where I could see this character having like some mercenary aspects, but then there's also just like some core loyalty. So I could go either way on this one. Do you see this character as a mercenary?
This character definitely has mercenary, and I think because they have, I don't think they have like born on Mandalore, lived on Mandalore, been on Mandalore. I think you've been around and have done mercenary things. So regardless of whether you still do mercenary stuff, you have a mercenary background and know mercenary things and mercenary people, and that incorporates into your skill set. So I think you definitely have that tag.
Okay, makes sense to me. Yeah, that was kind of where I was at too. Like, and I was kind of visualizing some earlier things that there may be some mercenary, and like because of like doing some things like behind the scenes, like outside of like the straight army or straight Mandalorian, like feels like would hire mercenaries, would work with mercenaries. There is some of that in there. Other tags, like depending on how we view this stuff, like obviously not feeling Sith or Jedi, there is maybe a like if we're doing some of the Mandalore, do I have any sort of like officer tag or anything like that? Do you or just any other tags jump out to you in this particular concept?
Maybe we'll come back to tags at the end and kind of see if anything is poked out at us from the creation of the character. I think we have a solid start.
Okay, agreed. So, Force user, Mandalorian, mercenary. I think this is a totally solid starting point. I think we should do the active ability first, which is the same spot where we started with you. I definitely have an idea here, but I'm curious to hear before I potentially sculpt you in a particular direction. Did you have any initial thoughts on the active ability?
So I've been trying to think. I basically what my idea for the character is that they're someone who is good at making the choices, making good tactical choices rather than just straight up hitting stuff. I do think this character is good at hitting stuff. I don't think that's their end all be all. So I think active ability would be something. Would be something where they get to make a choice, and like they can.
We're on the same page.
Okay. I don't know if we're gonna still be on the same page, but I think that it would be something where they get to choose at if they can either dash themselves or they can dash themselves or advance an ally within a range, whatever. Or if they are engaged, they can choose to dash or make a free 5 dice attack, is what I was thinking.
Okay. So where I was, so we're still very, very similar here. So in my head, I was thinking like Kiadi Mundi, Mace, Kanan is their start of turn abilities, right? Where I think Kanan's is probably the one that jumps out to me the most, where it's a which tag is kind of important, whether this is Mando or this is Mercenary, but where it's dash an allied it could be dash an allied character if they are a Mando or Mercenary or one or the other, then this character gets to dash. But it's worded in the way that like Kanan's is, where he could choose to double dash himself because he is in fact. And so that's where I was kind of leaning, where I'm like, I do feel like I'm a helpful character where like I would help people, but there are situations where maybe like I have to get the job done. And now we could do it like a Mace or Kiadi where it's like, hey, dash an ally. If they're this, then you get to dash. Or like Mace dashes like both characters in a support unit potentially. But I really liked, Kanan's was the one that jumped out me the most, where I just felt like it's like, yep, sometimes I dash and someone else dashes, but sometimes I double dash. What are your thoughts there?
Uh, I don't know if this would work wording wise, but since I think of this character as a tactician, I like Kanan's ability, but could we add like maybe phrase it as another allied character, not you, may advance, or you can choose to dash someone and yourself, if that makes sense. So, like, you
Yeah.
can, yeah, like you, or maybe I just said that wrong. You can choose between advance or 2 dashes as separate. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think we can make the wording on that work where it just slightly complicates the wording, but I think it's totally fine. It'll magically appear on the screen. So, okay, so from there, which type of ability do you want to do next?
Hmm. Uh, let's do a reactive.
Okay. React so for yours we did force lightning. Um I definitely don't think that I would be going like that direction. There's definitely a world where it could be some sort of like supporting fire. It could be a deflect. I've already gotten like a movement ability. What did you have something preemptive in your mind for this particular spot?
So, and I think we were aligned in this, and that you thought of yourself as being a protector of like Satine and her cause. I thought it would be fun to have a kind of a guardian type ability where if an ally within range, whatever, is targeted by an attack, then your character gets to reposition toward that character. And then you get to pick. Um, and I was having a hard time picking what felt appropriate and what made sense rules wise. So I I don't know if this is too powerful, so you'll have to help me. But I thought you get to pick. You get to reposition toward them and then pick that the attacker suffers strain. The defender gets some sort of bonus die of defense, or the attacker loses dice.
Hmm. I'm not sure we should make it three different things. Would be my only thing there.
I had a list of three because I wasn't sure which ones would work. Not that I thought there should be all three.
Yeah. No, I think we utilize I think we take the core wording from Paz's ability where when an ally within 2 gets attacked. We would have to change it a little bit because if we want to use the one where it like adds something to the defender, then we might want it to trigger first, but we could still potentially have it trigger afterwards and maybe like heal them or something like that too. But I think there's definitely some interesting realm in there where it's, hey, this is a reactive passive that gives you 2 options. I think we keep it to 2. I think where do you stand on like should it definitely I like the going up and doing something to the attacker or doing something for the defender. I think that's really interesting. Where do you land on like could it be a thing that happens afterwards where we maybe will heal the defender, or do you want it to really be something that happens first?
Okay, I have a total spitball. I didn't write this down. It just came into my brain. What if this is like you someone within range whatever is attacked, you can move toward, if you are able to get into engagement range with the movement, then the player attacking your ally has to choose between attacking you instead or losing dice against their original point, like person they were attacking.
Okay. No, I'm definitely down for that. Like, so it's like, all right, you target an ally. Is there a range restriction on this? Like, is this obviously repositioning isn't going to go like an infinite distance anyway?
I think it's a range 3 thing because I feel like this is a character who's a bodyguard and is intended to stay somewhat close to the group. It's not a scout infiltrator, get across the board as fast as possible. It's like I get in with my strike team and we move within this zone very effectively, and God help you if you enter it.
My gut is we're gonna give it a range. Like I want it to kind of be range 4 or 5. I think range 3 is too short, where it'd be too easy to be outside of range of them to trigger the ability.
I'm for it.
So yeah, if we're gonna do like okay, gets to reposition, and then we could either do like, my gut is you disarm them, right? Like you get up there, you either attack Omnus or you can still do your attack, but you are disarmed.
I like it. That's that. Yes, because it feeds into my brain of like you were like, oh crap, my ally's getting attacked. I run in and make myself the target. And if they are dead set on attacking the person I'm protecting, I'm gonna catch a few of those shots, whether they like it or not. Like you're just not getting through me.
Okay. Totally here for that. All right, so we've got that. Oh, we haven't discussed names at all. So we got to back up a step, and go. What are we naming the act? Do we want to do names in the episode, or we want names to happen
Well, I mean, oh
afterwards
wait,
and appear on the
you
screen?
mean names for the abilities? I thought you meant what I named your character.
Nope, names for the abilities.
I did name your character. Okay. What the we did active first. I called that one measured advance, but I'm not married to that idea. That was just like so I remembered what it was named for it.
Okay. I think we go with that for. Oh, go ahead.
Well, what about like? Oh wait, what would it be like? Repositioning with an exclamation point, like something you yell over comms.
Okay. I'm not like I don't have like a crazy. This is weird for me, but I don't have a crazy naming inspiration for it in the moment. What do we want to call the one that we're talking about right now? This like bodyguard esque, like there's a part of me that's like fuck around and find out, but like I don't know if we want swearing on the cards. We haven't decided that. Did you have a name for
Probably
this
not.
ability?
The one that I have feels kind of confusing because it's I kind of like maybe I don't know. What about like these all just feel a little too generic. I feel like that's something more fun. Maybe like Guardians intercession or something like that, or protective instinct even would work.
Do we want to consider doing something like specific and being like protecting the Duchess, don't fuck with the Duchess? Like, do we want to play into that part of the canon for it?
Yeah, or maybe oh, okay, hold on one second. Let me think about that.
We could go kind of punny because the Duchess is trying to be a peaceful Mandalore. It could just be keeping the peace.
There you go. I like it. Keeping the peace. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we've got that. We've got kind of an idea for the first one. Like there might be a thing where like the name for the active ability is different than what we discussed in the episode when you see the card. We might have inspiration in post. Okay. So which ability type do you want to do next?
Let's do innate.
Okay, innate. So just like an active ability all the time. Um, like my first instinct is maybe like one of the defensive things, like allies within range 2 get to add an expertise, like what Chewie and Ahsoka have. It could be allied mercenaries or allied Mandalorians. Could be something kind of like Bo-Katan, where you're handing out steadfast protection, something like that. Did you have anything in particular already in mind?
I was trying to think of something. Okay, so I'm trying to keep the theme of like tactician, bodyguard, um, and I don't. Innate abilities are tough for me because it's easy to make them too powerful. So, but
For sure.
I feel like that because of how I imagine he uses the lightsabers in this like kind of breaching, uh, sense. I feel like, and this isn't the too powerful thing, but I feel like he always gets ignores cover.
Okay, so the only thing is, so you didn't give him a gun, so ignoring cover doesn't really matter if he's always in melee.
True, I didn't give him a gun. Why didn't I give him a
Um,
gun?
that was definitely there was a thought like there was a moment where I was like looking at the character and I kind of was like, should this be a guy who's one lightsaber but also has a gun out at the same time? But I was going with your vibe, but I figured there was a reason why I didn't have a gun.
I remember what I did now. I initially gave you a gun, and then I was like, no, it doesn't make sense in my brain that you have a gun because it's like, at least for me, it was like you are not having the gun for me would mean you were like more offensive when this character is very defensive. So I was like, no, they have the like lightsabers that defend always against anything melee or ranged, but they're not like, sniper on the rooftop. They're not running across the room shooting a blaster. Their main protect, and then if you are going to get close enough, you're going to get bopped. So yes, I did. The not gun thing was intentional, and it was also like for in my brain kind of a power move of like, look at me, I don't even have a gun. Like that's like how confident I'm in my own abilities. I don't even have a blaster. I don't need a blaster to do my job. Are you sure you want to do what you were about to do?
Okay. I think I have an idea based on what we were talking about. What if
Okay.
we've kind of flip the ability a little bit and be um enemy characters who make an attack within range 2 of this character or while engaged with this character lose 1 expertise out of the roll.
I like that. I also like your innate being like really either like you got to have some sort of bubble aura.
Well, that's where I was thinking this is interesting because it also, even if you're not attacking me and you're attacking someone else, right? Like if you're already engaged with me, you are going to lose that expertise either way.
That's fair. That makes sense.
Okay. All right. Well, let's settle it. Do we have thoughts on the name for that one? We are already longer than your episode, like significantly, and we have two more abilities to do. Do you have a thought on this name?
Uh so the ability is just that if you're engaged with this character, you lose a die or lose an expertise.
Lose an expertise. Yep.
Okay.
What if it's something like not as skilled as you thought you were?
That's pretty good. I like that.
Okay. All right, we've made a decision. All right. Which ability type do you want to do next? We have the identity, and then we have I'm forgetting the name for it, but like the activated ability. I forget because there's the active that starts at the turn, or is that a tactic? That's tactic. So we actually already did tactic. We were just kind of using the wrong so we need to do an
Whoops.
activated ability. What or do you want to do activated or identity next?
You pick.
Okay. Activated. The activated ability probably is the easier one. Identity is going to kind of define the character, so doing that one last probably makes sense. Um. So here, did you already have an initial thought, or are we spitballing?
I want something that I think we've really well leaned into the protection of this character. I want something that leans into the like tactical mind thing. But I also, since I feel like this character is like a problem solver and seeing the whole field of battle, I feel like this character does something with momentum. Like they see above the board and they understand, like, they're like, I know the full game we're playing. And so I feel like their ability has to do something with momentum, but it's not clicking. I just know that that's what I want.
Okay, so we could steal General Han's ability, where he has a reactive, where you spend a force when your opponent would gain a momentum, you can also gain a momentum. And I think that would actually make a lot of sense here, where it's kind of like, hey, if you wound my ally and gain a momentum, I could potentially also gain a momentum and then just win the struggle.
What if, ooh, I like that. That's pretty good. Um, so I'm going to talk through it. So basically, if your opponent gains a momentum, you gain a momentum, right? That's the crux of it.
Yeah, it costs a force, but like it's a reactive to and your enemy gaining momentum.
What about like, I see what you did there?
What about I was planning for that?
Ooh, yes, I like that.
All right, I dig it. Okay, so we've done tactic, we've done activated, we've done innate, we've done reactive. So all we have left is the identity. Like, what is the core effect then of this character? We've got he's got a little bit of movement that he's already handing out. He's got kind of like a reactive defensive ability. He's got kind of a cool defensive mechanic for him or his allies, and he's got a little momentum manipulation. My gut here is maybe we do we lean into the momentum manipulation in some way in the identity? What do you have in mind?
Yeah, I left that one out intentionally of my notes because I thought it would be better if I came to it through the course of the episode. So, hmm. I do like the concept that everyone else is playing checkers and he's playing chess. So I like that where like it has something to do. Even if it's not momentum, he's manipulating the game rather than the game state.
So we could borrow from Jin, right? And do like her when an allied mercenary or Mandalorian needs to spend force, they could instead spend one momentum to use the ability. Do we want to use that? And is that enough by itself?
I think we do that and one other thing.
Well, we did give this to you, so this is a negative, but I feel like I also should be rarely reserved, right? Like I feel like the identity should also be this character cannot be put into reserve, and so that should be in there. Or you're saying no, no.
I think it would be much funnier. I mean, yes, we could do that and it would fit, but I don't think this. I think this character is too strategic and would understand that sometimes I must be reserved. I think that this. I don't know if this how this would work, but I want him to at the one of the things he gets to do at the start of the game is pick and from the other player's team one of their characters gains the tag can't be reserved.
Oh man, that is so interesting. So when you first started talking, I was um I was thinking like Luminara's identity, right? Where you could add in that he could, before reserving a character, or like before revealing the top of the order deck or making the decision to reserve, that you get to look at the top card and then decide, right? So that was kind of where like, oh, if we're going to like, oh, I only want to reserve with more information. But I like the like I really like your mindset there where I'm I get to put a priority token on a particular character. We could use the wording probably off of like Grief's ability where he gets to mark someone. Do you want it to be where I have control over it, or do you want it to be like a totally random character? What are okay, you want it to be controlled?
I think that it makes the most like I think it makes it fair and make the most sense if at the start of the game before anything happens you have to pick because it makes it kind of a fun tactical decision for you like oh I get to pick but not so like you don't get to be in every moment and decide in the moment.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a really creative idea, and I think that would be a nice little like extra little notch into the primary. We're just after deployment, before before revealing which struggle card. We'll figure out the exact wording, but I get to like mark with a priority token one of your characters. That character cannot be put into reserve.
I like that. I think that is really cool and it fits the rarely reserved, but it's unlike me where I'm rarely reserved because I'm going right now, damn it. You're rarely reserved because you're like, I assessed this.
Okay, I dig it then. Okay, so let's talk tags. Do after any of this, is there any tags that you think that we have left out that you think should still be on the character?
Uh,
It's okay if the answer is no.
no, but I don't know why this popped in my head. It's not a tag, but this might make your character way too overpowered. But I thought it would be kind of cool if you had an ability because you're a primary character obviously, but it'd be pretty cool if your character had an ability that was called maybe like oh I don't know I don't know I'll think about it, but basically where you can deploy your secondary at range 2.
Okay. Well, not a tag thing. But we could. I mean, identities can have as much as you want. So, we could just include some wording in the identity and give it one more thing and be like, maybe if the secondary is a mercenary or a Mandalorian, they may be deployed range 2 off of you.
Yeah, I like that because I think it feeds into the um like planning nature of the character, like that you would get to set up your protege at range 2.
And I kind of dig that it's not like the whole uh, squad, right? It's specifically like you're my Padawan, you're my apprentice, you're my protege. I'm trying to set you up for success. I appreciate that logic.
Yeah, I don't know. It popped in my head. I know we were talking about tags, but I was like, that's got to be on there somewhere.
All right, I dig it. Okay, so let's talk force and squad points. Um, uh, seven, seven, 4, 8, 3, 9, 2. Are you leaning any particular direction?
I think, ooh, uh, I think that I plan for that has to be something you can't use all the time. So I think making you a lower force character makes sense. Uh, but I do think making you have crazy squad points makes sense. Like, not a huge force wielding character, but you bet your ass I brought the best team possible for this mission.
All right. I mean, my gut reaction was like if you have someone there hasn't been any characters in Shatterpoint that are force user primaries that only get 2 force. But I don't necessarily disagree with any of your logic there. So I'm totally fine being a 9-2. I have movement without spending force, so it's all about the force abilities. Like the way that the character spends force is powerful, but like you really have to be selective about when you use
Well,
it.
don't forget that we gave you Jin's ability.
That's true. So yes, yeah, you're totally right. Okay, durability and stamina. Where you okay? My gut reaction is I'm not on the bottom or the high end. Like I'm not sure I'm a 9 health. I don't think I'm a 12 health. I think I'm probably in the 10 or 11 range, and I'm thinking just like the 3 durability.
I think you're an 11-3.
I'm totally fine with that. Okay. Do we want to like shout out any stance cards from other characters? Like if someone was to play me, like what stances that they would use? Like this is just character seems like they have a very interesting fighting style.
I do think, and spoilers, I once we have enough people, I was planning on like having us post these as like downloadable cards and including full stances on them. So I don't think feel the need to like be like it's this one because I'm going to think of one. But if I'm imagining what your tree would look like, I feel like it's actually very it's not very damage heavy. It's mostly shoves and conditions.
We are on the same page because I was thinking about Asajj's Makashi tree as one of the trees, which is shoves and condition like well, it's more shoves and heals. Um, and so we're I mean, maybe slightly different.
Okay, wait. You have two sides. One is called like you will learn from this. And that's the shoves and conditions. And then the flip your other stance is called leave her alone. And that's damage heal.
I dig it. I'm on board with that. We'll try to pick like a basic tree to go off of for the shoves and conditions. I'm not sure one is immediately jumping to my brain at the moment. That is a
My
melee tree.
my head for the damage one is maybe like the Kiatis. The damage healing.
Um, yeah, I mean he's got a great shove and healing tree as well. Um, it's similar-ish to Asajj's. We could always I'd have to double check like the actual like how much conditions and stuff are on it, but I think like Anakin's I believe it's his Shien tree that's very like shove heavy. I don't think that is really a healing tree, because so that could be like an
Well,
interesting alternative one.
yeah. Well, I think that in my brain, at least, this is a very custom tree where one side is actually really not intended for doing damage. It's like the tree goes like shove, 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 jump, or well, shove, shove, jump, and then condition, 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 condition. And that's why it's you will learn from this is you're not really like, I mean, each of them has like maybe one damage with it, right? Where you're like, if you go down far enough, you're pretty much leaving every character on one with every condition, and they have been shoved to the oblivion. Because in my brain, that's like your character has two moments, and it's like you will learn from this. Like, hey, if you come over here again, I'm going to show you the other side of my hand, which is all damage, baby.
All right. Well, so you haven't told me, and I think the listeners would already know by this point. Well, what did you name this character? You are
Yes,
still
yes, 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 yes. No, I got it. Yes. Okay. So I thought, because it takes me hours to draw these, so I sit there and doodling and thinking, and I thought it would be pretty cool if, oh, I guess in my brain, now that I'm thinking about it, she would know about you, and she would never like everyone calls you Omnus or whatever. Uh, our Duchess calls you the Still Blade.
Okay, I dig it. So it's Omnus the Stillblade.
I don't know if it's Omnus the Still Blade or just Omnus Still Blade.
All right, I'm on board. All right, well, we did something very creative here. It was definitely a mixture of the two thought processes kind of merging into one. This definitely ended up being a little bit of a longer one, but I think it's because the merging of ideas here. But I think we created something interesting, and we'll see how much I can trim this down in post.
Yes, but I'm not surprised that we got a little bit carried away because that's like, yeah, and if this video has a little more editing in it, that makes sense. But like, I was very excited about this one, and I'm glad we gave it the attention it deserved and didn't just try to force ourselves through it as fast as possible.
I will interpret that comment as you felt like you need to make sure that I got the attention that I deserved.
I think in a very, I don't to get super real with you, as the podcaster extraordinaire, you are very good at giving attention to other people and other things, and we do not spend enough time giving attention back to you as a person who is a great person and is deserving of so much attention and hype. So, Omnis hype episode. It's going to be as long as I say it is. Deal with it.
I like how you're rewarding me with editing time. I like it's both like a mega compliment, but also you're like, yeah, suck it, bro. I love it. I appreciate you. You are absolutely special, and I think you came up with a really cool concept. I think you came up with a really cool character for me, and I'm just more and more excited to do this for the War Council.
I'm gonna push through the arm pain.
All right. Well, do so we have randomized it for who's coming up next. Do you want to announce the first person in the War Council who's going to get one, which is not going to be next week. We're going to take at least 1 week off to let you get caught up on the art, but we're going to take at least 1 week, but we're going to try to do it very, very soon. But do you want to tell them who on the War Council is next?
Yes. The next up is our most gracious and kind, but also probably very deadly War Council member from Canada. It is Dylan. Dynamic Dylan, you are next on the, what did I call it? You are subject. You are the subject, Dylan. I'm so excited. I've got so many ideas. I've got a Pinterest board going.
The literal subject of our admiration and yeah, and Dojo. So Dylan, I hope you're ready for this.
Yes, I hope you're excited for this. Yeah. Uh, Later, nerds.
Com Signal has become a card.